everybody, it's Kristen and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about twin flames. And I mentioned in the last video, have I gone crazy? Which the answer of course is no, that I was still processing through something, and I've just processed through it and made sense of it, and so I want to share it with everybody. So over the last, I would say about week, I've been having these experiences back in the flower of life, and I had no idea what they meant. And it actually took a lot of different events and a lot of different visions and experiences to be able to understand the whole thing, which is why I talk about why it's so important to have your own process, because when I first saw this, I had no idea what it was. So what I experienced was not linear. It was totally abstract, but I'm going to explain it linearly so everybody can understand. Okay, so the other night when I was in bed, and I meditate before I go to sleep. So oftentimes I have visions, experiences, I connect with my guides, my angels, my higher self. I mean, I do that all throughout the day, all day, but that time before I go to bed is a really special time, and in that lucid dream, that relaxed state, you can really connect to the union space. And I wasn't attempting to connect to the union space, but it pulled me in. And I have the flower of life. So in the last activation where I talked about the flower of life, which I'll link below, the flower of life appeared vertically. And this time, in this particular activation, it appeared and pulled me in horizontally. So I'm just showing everyone like the flower of life here. So it pulled me in like from a vertical position. And when I started to look at the flower of life that I was getting pulled into, there was black smoke coming off of it. And so I knew that there was some sort of release of a shadow energy or something that was dark, you know, if we want to call dark shadow. I prefer shadow than dark, but it was definitely a darker energy, and it was lifting off of the flower of life. And then I started to get pulled in, pulled in, pulled in, and I started to see that divine feminine and divine masculine, there were literally like octopus tentacles that were wrapped around the different unions in different ways. Like some people had it wrapped around their legs, some people had it wrapped around their arms, some people had the tentacle around their neck. It was like strangling them. Some people it was wrapped all around their torso, and it was really like holding them back from moving forward. And so I watched as all of the tentacles started to pull off as the black smoke started to release. And I really didn't know at that time exactly what this was attempting to show me. I could just tell that it was shadow energy that was releasing. And so fast forward to a few more meditations and a few more lucid dreams, I started to understand that this was shadow female and shadow mother energy releasing. And a lot of the tentacles that I was seeing were from the mother. And so I wanted to understand how this applied to divine feminine and how this applied to divine masculine. So I had to keep swimming and keep digging and keep processing as to what this was showing. So there is a false archetype of what a woman is. There is a false archetype as to what a mother is. A mother and a stepmother can be included in this, the wicked stepmother. And this energy might not necessarily come through the mother. It can come through you as a woman, and then it can come through women in divine masculine's lives. All right, so let me get more specific here, and I want to be clear, this is releasing. So this is wonderful because this is a block. This is a block for a lot of men to move forward with a romantic relationship because of what servitude their mother has been keeping them in. And then conversely, for a divine feminine, This is old identities that don't serve or are not actually who your true authentic self is. So what I started to feel that was releasing was this old template of a woman who is a nag, who is weak, who doesn't have a voice, who is a people pleaser, um, who is not seen, not heard, not valued. I started to see it in my own life where I wanted to accommodate people and just settle things down, make things nicey. That's not living in your truth, and that's actually not living in your empowerment. And oftentimes that is giving yourself away, selling yourself short, and short ordering yourself. And that will close down every single high vibrational timeline in your life. And I know that some of the shadow qualities of myself that came to light that were meant to be healed and to be worked through and released was that neediness, was that fear of abandonment, was that perceiving I was a bad girl, and also the confines that my own mother and stepmother wanted to put me in and keep me in, even though they do truly love me. And so I know for my own self, I have been working through this energy in my own life, through my own personality, and also working through it with the women in my life. And how do I then help my clients, help the women that I work with step into their true authentic self and release those labels of being a nag or weak or nice or smile, just keep the smile on. What about being real? What about living in your truth? What about owning your empowerment and redefining what divine feminine is? I wish I could give you an example of like an actress or someone who is really personifying this. And it's actually really hard because this energy is not overly sexual. So when I went to like think of a actress who personifies divine feminine, which is powerful, feminine, articulate, poised, confident, radiating beauty from the inside. It was hard to come up with somebody because oftentimes, and even with myself, sometimes we've led with our sexual energy, sometimes we've led with our outward beauty, instead of understanding that the twin flame journey and the journey of awakening is always an inside job. And everything on the outside, including our looks, is all secondary to the primary reality, which is internal. So it started to be really clear to me how this liberation from the old archetype, from the malignment and the denigration of divine feminine, it started to be clear to me that I am liberating myself from this. I am assisting my female clients to liberate themselves from this, and that indirectly by telling my mother and my stepmother no, I am assisting them to liberate themselves from the old archetype that are preventing them from living in their empowerment as well. So always go back to when you make a choice that is of self-love, it is always then in the highest for everyone. Okay, so that's how this energy is being liberated from divine feminine. So as a woman or as a divine feminine energy, feel into how this is playing out for you. Are you on a spiritual journey and still thinking that you've got to be love and light all the time, and thus people are walking all over your boundaries? Or are you conversely not honoring other people's boundaries, thinking, maybe I shouldn't do that, but proceeding anyway? So think and feel how this liberation of shadow feminine energy is working in your life. Because like I said, this is great. We're releasing this energy because, especially if you were in the separation phase, this is a really crucial time for your union. And actually, if you have not met your twin flame, this is a really crucial time as well. A lot of twin flames are going to be coming into physical union in the month of August. So we want to release all of these blocks and really liberate ourselves from the should-haves, could-haves, must-have, and have-tos of being a woman and what that looks like. And really own redefining what a woman is to us, to myself, to me personally. And then I was really curious, so how does this energy manifest for divine masculine? Because I saw the tentacles, and I gotta tell you, a lot of the tentacles were worse around the divine masculine energies that I saw than the females. Some of these guys were all wrapped up in this energy. These tentacles, this dark octopus would just had these guys completely coiled up. And I was in Santa Monica the other day, and I was taking my walk, minding my own business, when I started to overhear a conversation with a 40-some-year-old man and his mother. And this was divine intervention, y'all. I was meant to hear this conversation. I was not eavesdropping, even though at first I was like, ooh, should I be listening? And I actually, the light changed and I had to cross a walk signal and I didn't walk. I stood there and like pretended to be on my phone so I could listen to it. But like I said, this was divine intervention. There was a 40-some-year-old man, and yes, I know he was in his 40s because he had a little gray hair right here. He was not in his 30s. He was not in his 50s. This is a grown 40-something-year-old man who was having a very real conversation with his mother. And bless, boy, she had tears in her eyes, but this was his liberation. He told her that she had ruined the day, that by trying to control everything that day, that she had ruined it for him. And that he was sick and tired of her trying to control his life, tell him what to wear, tell him what to eat, tell him who to date, tell him how to do his job, tell him how to live his life. He actually called her a helicopter mom and told her that that was over. He claimed his liberation, he claimed his sovereignty from his mother in a very empowered way, but yet very loving. And I could tell this was not the first conversation that he was going to have with his mother, or it was not the first one that he had had, and it wasn't going to be the last. But that he was beginning to take those octopus tentacles that were preventing him from moving forward in his life, he was taking them off. He was claiming his divine masculine. And he specifically told her that she was not going to choose his girlfriends for him anymore. He specifically told her she was not going to micromanage his life and that he wasn't going to drop everything for her like he had been doing his whole entire life. And so it became clear to me how this liberation is manifesting for divine masculine. So his mom loves him. Of course she does. His mom wants him to be happy. Of course she does. I'm sure the most beautiful day of her whole life will be the day that he tells her he's getting married. The second most beautiful day will be the day he gets married. The happiest day of her life will be when she meets her grandchild. So this was a dynamic, a pattern, karmic, right? This is not the first life that they had been dealing with this, but this was the end of the patterning. And for this divine masculine man to liberate himself from shadow feminine, shadow mother energy, he had to speak up, stand in his truth, and hold his healthy boundaries. So divine masculine energy, I want you to listen to me when I say this might not be coming through your mom. It might not be coming through your stepmom. It could be coming through a well-meaning sister. It could be coming from a karmic relationship. And this is for you to really feel into how does shadow feminine and shadow mother energy no longer serve you anymore? Has your mom kept you in a box as Peter Pan? Is she still doing your laundry? Is she still calling the shots? And does that feel good to you? So this is really big stuff, and this leads me into the next conversation, which is the August energy. And you can guess what the theme for the August energy is. You guessed it, liberation. So let us really embrace this liberation as a positive, even though it might come up in your life as drama, even though it might come up in your life as painful. It can also come through male energy. The angels want me to say this with people telling you that they know better than you, like that old mom of mom knows best. It can come through a man. So this energy is this energy of a nag, a weak, a controlling woman. And it doesn't serve any of us to have this in our vibration within ourselves or outside of ourselves. So those hard conversations might be on the table. And you can remember back to this video where I already witnessed a man living and embodying his divine masculine energy, speaking his truth, and shifting the dynamic with his mother in a loving way. And if he can do it, you can do it too. Sending you lots and lots of love. And if you are looking to make an appointment or want to follow me on any social media, all the links are below for you to be able to find me. Namaste, everybody. Have a great day.